In accordance with the founder's intent, RGC meetings are preceded by lectures or demonstrations on topics ranging from flower arranging and garden design to horticulture and conservation. One or more are open to the public each year, and occasionally gentlemen friends are invited to attend and exhibit. Note, the club has 2 men who are active members. Not all programs go smoothly, as Pat Buxbaum recalls.
So I'm Pat Buxbaum, and I joined the garden club back in the late 60s. And my most vivid memory of that was, in those days, you went to a tea. And I remember being in someone's dining room with a very elaborate English tea going on in my white gloves. And that was just to be a social, but it turned out to be a lookover, I guess. So I guess I passed muster, and I ended up becoming a member of the club. Somehow or other, I got to be program chairman, way before I should have been. And this is really the first job I had in garden club when I first joined. And I had really very little conception of the GCA and what they expected. So I'd heard about this lady who was on TV, and she arranged flowers. So I contacted her with much fanfare. Do you remember this? With much fanfare, I asked her to come down and speak to our garden club and bring her flowers. She combined artificial with real, is what her thing was. And I didn't know at the time that was not a good idea. So down she came, and I took her over to the country club where we had the meeting, and I saw her unpacking everything. I just almost died, because we were talking about plastic. So anyway, she put on a show, and I could see Dottie Vitor and a few others going like this to me in the middle of her speech. No, 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 no. So anyway, that was my big boo-boo, and they forgave me because I shouldn't have been program chairman. Anyway, I was too new. But anyway.
Since its inception, field trips have been part of club activities, and in the early days, they were a feature of every meeting. 2 or 3 trips annually are now planned by the field trip chairman, and by bus or carpool, members explore gardens, nurseries, parks, and sites. Over the years, participants have come away not only with increased knowledge, but happy memories after a day of camaraderie. While club dues help foster and fund programs, lectures, and civic projects, additional fundraising is needed to defray other costs. In the early days, house and garden tours were popular. The one in 1932 was attended by 450 people. Over the years, proceeds from the house tour Make Your House Merry and from plant and boutique sales went toward establishing gardens in Rumson schools and parks. Millicent and Rosalie Ramsey remember working.
And we used to have our sales in the Borden Barn, which is over on River Road. And with our Christmas Greens workshops, we used to have them there and and now don't we do it down at the church? And again, it's one of our very important things. And you have your wonderful plant sales. I don't think we ever had plant sales. We had Christmas sales where we made all the Christmas decorations, and you weren't allowed to buy anything until everybody else had bought what they wanted to buy.
For the tour. And I decided that in these niches here in the front hall, what would you call that room? I don't know what you call it. There are 2 niches in that room. Well, there were in those days anyway. They have silver in there now. I decided we would have small Christmas trees. And I thought it would be fun to spray one of the starfish gold. And Henry Minster, who was going to Florida, bought me back about 100. And the smell in my house was simply appalling.
Oh yeah, I can imagine.
But we sprayed them so much that they really didn't smell when they got to the country club, thank God. It was so funny.
In the 1980s and 90s, views to the sea, garden tours, and sales took place at seaside gardens such as those of members Isabel Beetleston, Gillian Courtney Pratt, Lee Sorensen, Peter Sorensen, and Jane Scott.
I'm Lee Sorensen. I just came down a little path I made for my grandchildren who visit me in July and August. And I've been a member of the Garden Club since 1984. I got drafted by my mother-in-law, who was a wonderful gardener, and Jane Scott, who taught me bonsai, which is how I know how to prune trees and do all kinds of things. The great thing about Garden Club is you get a job right off the bat. You're asked to arrange, you're asked to show, you're asked to help out in civic projects, and you learn. And then they give you a big hat, like head of one of those things, which I've done. And you are a busy person and you're totally involved in the Garden Club and your environment and a wonderful group of women.
Since 1982, the RGC has held its annual plant sale in May, featuring specimen trees and homegrown plants. Bruce Huber participates.
Well, every fall, the plant sale, members of the Garden Club bring to this garden all the plants we can corral, and we store them either in the beds here, and obviously we take the veggies out. You'll see more veggies in a minute. And we store them down here below the timber because it's protected. And you don't get as much wind and snow on them there. Snow doesn't matter at all. Snow actually is pretty good. And we'll store probably 250, 300 plants in a winter, and then we'll add more in the spring at the plant sale itself. And they're all stacked up in this bin or bed, and out here in the walkway, and then over in the next area as well. So we cover a lot of ground, and almost all the plants survive. I would say probably 90–95% of the plants survived.
Over the years, these many events have not only raised funds for our civic contributions and reiterated our environmental concerns, but working together to make them successful has been fun and